It's Fee Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
The name Jim Valvano still echoes in these parts. Welcome to Raleigh and PNC Arena as the Big Ten ACC Challenge continues. North Carolina State plays host to Penn State, and so far the ACC off to a great start. They've won 6 of the 7 between the two leagues. But for Penn State, their head coach Pat Chambers told us today, this is the best team he's had in his 7 seasons, and he has a budding superstar in Tony Carr.
Sophomore at 6'5", a terrific playmaker, one of the best in the Big Ten. But he is going to have to be a shot maker if Penn State's going to come here on the road and beat NC State. He's added some muscle to his frame. He's a 3-level scorer. And for NC State, it's Al Freeman, the 6'3" graduate student who graduated from Baylor and is playing his final year here at NC State. He's coming off that big game and that huge upset for NC State over Arizona, but he is also a right side of the box score player, Anish. He can impact the game on the glass and with his defense.
Freeman, the leading scorer for NC State. The Wolfpack lost their top 3 scorers from a season ago. They've got a new head coach in Kevin Keatts, and they are 5-2 through the first 7 games. Penn State controls the opening tip. Nittany Lions 6-1, playing their first true road game of the season. Lamar Stevens misfires, back tap to Carr. He lets it fly, and Tony Carr, 20 points per game, 2 30-point outings already, off to a good start.
You know, he is a big-time player, and he is really set this year to take that sophomore class, which has made a significant push for Penn State. This is a big year for them to be able to get to the NCAA tournament.
You see the starting 5 for NC State as Al Freeman is bumped down low. Lost it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wolfpack. Freeman, the leading scorer for NC State.
We know about the energy, the motor, the way NC State likes to play on the defensive end. Can they impose that against a very skilled, tough-minded Penn State club who likes to run at times as well?
Freeman with the shot clock winding down. The rebound to big Mike Watkins. There is a Philadelphia flavor to this Penn State team. 4 players from Roman Catholic. That's at high school in Philly on this roster. There is Josh Reeves, the junior who led the Big Ten in steals last year.
Anish, the starting lineup for Penn State has size on every position over NC State. So you saw that last possession. They just threw over the top of the Wolfpack defense.
Torin Dorn from the free throw line. And the rebound comes to Shep Garner, the senior.
Shep Garner is a catch and shoot, likes to shoot the 3.
Watkins rebounds the Carr miss. Gets it back. Doesn't get it to go, and Leonard Freeman rips it down.
Yeah, Freeman is going to have to be really tough in that matchup with Watkins. He can score on the inside. He's good at defending, and he's a terrific shot blocker. Going to need some pump fakes tonight.
He's turned into a scorer this year. Here's the freshman Braxton Beverly. No whistle. Nittany Lions will slow things up. Now it's Carr, and he's got 5 early.
There is a certain smoothness to the way Tony Carr plays. It looks effortless. So skilled.
Dorn drops it off for Freeman. Active hands by Penn State. These are 2 of the top teams in the country so far in forcing turnovers.
Tips, deflections, and the disruption on the defensive end going Penn State's way.
Fall away not there. The tip by Garner, and it's a 9-0 run for Penn State, and Kevin Keatts with an early timeout. Tony Carr with 5. 9-zip Nittany Lions. Penn State 4 out of 9. They've scored the first 9 points. And this was an NC State team. They went to the Bahamas in the battle for Atlantis, beat number 2 Arizona. The Wildcats have since dropped out of the rankings, but followed that up with losses to Northern Iowa and Tennessee. And Kevin Keatts is still figuring out who his team is as we have a foul on Penn State. It is on Satchel Pierce, the Virginia Tech transfer. There is Pat Chambers, 4 straight seasons with 15+ wins, but they're trying to move out of the great twilight in the Big Ten and move into the upper echelon and try to make a bid for the NCAA tournament for the first time in Chambers' tenure.
Very defensive-minded, offensively 5 players averaging double figures. Got a shot blocker at the rim, good ball pressure on the defensive end. This is a pretty well put together team.
Shot clock winding down. Freeman off the dribble. No good by Torin Dorn, and the rebound comes to Tony Carr. A very good rebounding guard. Stevens, loose ball on the floor. Refs letting them play through it. And a jump ball possession arrow, Penn State.
There are several options for Pat Chambers to invert his guards to the block against a smaller perimeter for Kevin Keatts.
Kevin Keatts coming to Raleigh after a successful 3-year run at UNC Wilmington. Took over a program that had been mired in 6 straight losing seasons. All he did, win 3 regular season titles in the Colonial, and took that team dancing twice. Freeman off balance, not there. NC State still without its first point. Garner on the run out, and it's an 11-0 run by Penn State.
NC State really shot selection has not allowed them to even get a good look to be able to set their defense. Penn State's playing in transition so far early in the game.
Braxton Beverly, the freshman, leaves it short. Offensive rebound, Dorn trying to navigate through traffic, a jump ball. And it's going to go the other way. No, they'll say it's a travel.
NC State's going to pick up full court pressure here. They're obviously not in rhythm at all on the offensive end. And sometimes, Anish, when you're trying to jumpstart your team, you need to pick up your effort on the defensive end.
Now, that was an issue last year for NC State. Kevin Keatts has hammered that home this year, and he has brought a fast-paced, up-tempo approach. Doesn't quite have the 3-point shooting that he did at UNC Wilmington.
NC State only makes 5 threes a game. They're learning. That's an adjustment. It takes time. You know, the Arizona win was huge. Put the program on the map and to validate the style that Kevin Keatts wants to play. But these guys got to find some offense, or this thing could get ugly fast.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Aleve Direct Therapy. Get drug-free, deep penetrating lower back pain relief. And Angry Orchard Hard Cider, naturally refreshing. Kevin Keatts and his Wolfpack still looking for their first points. Penn State off to a fast start. Anish Shroff alongside Debbie Antonelli. Debbie, so far, Penn State has executed its game plan to perfection.
They have the pace where they want it, especially on the road. They've been able to get out in transition and get some easy scoring opportunities. They've scored in their situational offense, and I think they have done an excellent job of getting the right people taking shots early in the game.
That one went off the stripes. Here's Stevens. Up ahead, Jamari Wheeler. Lazy passing there by Penn State, and it comes back to NC State. Pressure at midcourt. Stevens and Wheeler on the double. Now it's Markel Johnson poked loose from behind. It'll stay with the Wolfpack.
We talk about some of the do's and don'ts for Penn State. Situational offense, they've been terrific. They've scored on their out of their timeouts, and they have stayed out of foul trouble in the second level, which NC State's got to attack the logo to try to put some pressure on them on the back row, and then they've got to stay with them on the glass right now. +6 Penn State on the boards.
NC State 0 for 7 from the field. Here's Omer Yurtseven, and that's a double dribble.
I mean, sloppy, very casual, no energy. Not any part of that speaks to Kevin Keatts and what his DNA is.
This Penn State team, the only loss for the Nittany Lions through 7 games, came against a very good Texas A&M team that could win the SEC. Here's Carr, and he is fouled on the drive.
And he is so good at getting his footwork to create separation. He gets his shoulders past the defender, and at 6'5", Pat Chambers does a terrific job of moving him around the offense, making him a really tough check for NC State.
Inbound to Watkins, now Carr. To Stevens, those two were high school teammates. Stevens, and the rebound to Omer Yurtseven, who came back for his sophomore year after flirting with the NBA draft. Freeman, the step back, and NC State on the board.
Okay, that's all Al Freeman right there. And you see right there a little bit of urgency out of his play coming out of the timeout. He's got the assignment to guard Tony Carr as well. He's starting out on him anyway. And you have to get over the top of every ball screen with Carr because of this right here, the three-point range.
NC State will give up that shot. Here comes Sam Hunt. Transfer from North Carolina A&T. He's a three-point shooter. He lets it fly and hits.
I mean, Sam Hunt doesn't even need any sweat. Comes right off the bench, ready to score. Now see how quickly the energy has picked up for NC State just because they've made a couple of buckets.
This is Jamari Wheeler, freshman out of Florida. Now Stevens. Sizing up Leonard Freeman, who pokes it loose. Wolfpack ball.
NC State getting their energy off their ability to score right here. Terrific footwork to create separation by Al Freeman. And then Sam Hunt with range.
Hunt, a young man who began his career at Jacksonville University, went to North Carolina A&T. He's from Greensboro, dreamed of playing in the ACC, and gets his chance as a graduate transfer.
And as poorly as NC State has started, it's just a 6-point game.
Yurtseven to the jump hook. Watkins fighting for the rebound, and a foul against the Wolfpack.
And Penn State's going to play straight up with Watkins, who's a terrific shot blocker, one of the best in the country. Yurtseven's got to finish that one-on-one move. He came back after experiencing the NBA draft. Much stronger, better skill set, better defender.
He picked up the foul there. Struggled with foul trouble last year. But a big part of that, he was suspended for the early part of the season because of playing for money overseas, and never was able to get those reps in non-conference, and he looked like a deer in headlights in the ACC at times as Watkins finishes.
Good execution by Penn State.
Foul the other way off the drive by the freshman LeVar Batts.
And Batts gets to the logo. Watch the nice slip to the bucket here off the high post roll. Tell you what, Tony Carr and Lamar Stevens get most of the headlines for Penn State, and they deserve them, but Mike Watkins is a huge part of whether this team will have a long stay and will they get to the postseason. He's a shot blocker. He rebounds his position. He can defend one-on-one. They don't use him in their ball screening action to be aggressive to trap or to hard hedge. More of a gap, so they keep him out of foul trouble that way.
Watkins last year second in the Big Ten in blocks, had 8 double-doubles. Batts misses both, and the rebound to Julian Moore, the graduate student, excuse me. 5th year with Penn State. Shep Garner, catch and shoot. Hunt, the rebound. Penn State opened this game on an 11-0 run. Hunt, he's got 2 threes. Did not score the last 2 games. He's found his shot early.
Great job by Batts coming off that ball screen. Good lift on the weak side to be wide open for a catch and shoot.
Garner knocks down the jumper.
State has really scored in every facet of the game. They've been on the glass. They have scored in transition. When the game slows down, they execute.
That's the long three. That's good. He was just 1 of 12 from three-point range before that. Garner from the wing. He lets it fly.
He was open the last time on the skip in transition. And when you open up the floor like that with your full court pressure, you better know where Garner is.
You're at 7 now. He knocks it down. That's a three-point shootout early. This has turned into a game of horse, Debbie.
Oh, look at the body language of NC State now. Now, will Penn State have the poise right here and the composure?
Foul on the floor. Penn State with a 4-point lead as the Wolfpack have come back.
"28 teams, 14 matchups,
all kinds of stars."
That's absolutely beautiful. One challenge. The Big Ten ACC Challenge continues with Notre Dame, Michigan State, tomorrow, 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Spartans had a big win against North Carolina. Tony Carr and the foul. He's got 7 with a chance for 8.
Off the timeout, you just had a feeling he hadn't had a touch in a while, Anish.
You called it. You told me during the break. You called the exact play they ran.
I'm impressed with Tony Carr. When you have a player like that, you can move him around in places where he can find success, and he is a tall perimeter guard, shot-making, play-making. Nice out-of-bounds play. Pat Chambers' team's got to execute in their situational offense.
Pat Chambers told us Carr has done a lot in the offseason, added more than 25 pounds of muscle. He was really impressed, though, with what he called Carr's mental conditioning.
They just throw the lob over the top of Bats. He's got more size. He's dangerous because if you put a smaller guy on him, he's going to take you to the block. He can initiate from the top. He's very good in their ball screening action on the wing, and he's got range.
Pat Chambers, the next step in the growth of Carr is becoming a leader.
He just fought through that elevator door screen on the top.
Shot clock down to 2. Freeman, running layup is good off the window. Here's Reeves. Garner's got 7. In and out. Carr the offensive rebound. Carr in traffic.
With the offhand. NC State's made a couple of mistakes on Garner. They cannot make more mistakes on him. He's too good outside the arc.
Sam Hunt, he's had the hot hand. Did not start for the 2nd straight game, but 9 off the bench in the first half. He's been the spark to get NC State back into this game after being down 11-0.
NC State bench has 15 of the 19.
Stevens posting up. 1 to shoot, beats the clock, can't get it to go. You're at 7 with the rebound. And Betts is bumped by Reeves. 4th team foul on Penn State, 1st on Josh Reeves.
Well, we talked about the many ways that Tony Carr can impact the game on the offensive end. There's an offensive board in traffic, and then to the corner. 3rd triple of the first half off the bench for Sam Hunt.
That was his reputation when he came to Raleigh, a 3-point shooter. Almost all of his attempts this season have come from beyond the arc. Braxton Beverly had a big game in the win against Arizona, 20 points. 6th rebound for Watkins.
He gets a great look. He snakes behind the step-up screen, something NC State spent a lot of time in shoot-around today working on, attacking that logo off those step-up screens.
Wolfpack can tie with a 3. Dorn down the lane. Follows his miss. Third attempt is not there. Hunt goes down, out of bounds. They'll stay here. Coming up next on ESPN at 9:30 Eastern, #1 Duke and Indiana from Assembly Hall in Bloomington. If you have not seen Marvin Bagley, tune in and please do so. Leading the ACC in scoring, and he has NBA superstardom written all over him. Al Freeman with a chance to tie it at the free throw line.
Al Freeman is a driver, and you have to play him off the bounce. Does a terrific job of attacking. His buckets have come off the dribble, creating separation or being able to go hard to the middle of the floor.
Freeman, a graduate transfer from Baylor, was a 2-year starter for Scott Drew. 23 years old. Has a 2.5-year-old baby girl by the name of Maddox. Speaks Spanish. And cannot tie the game as Tony Carr rebounds. Reeves over yard 7. Cushion up to 3 for Penn State. Hunt has 3 3-pointers. Now yard 7 against Satchel Pierce. And a travel.
I like the poise, not to be in too much of a rush, but he's got to make some of those plays on the block for NC State. Penn State is not bringing the double. The 3-point shooting around him is too good. And if you can play him straight up, then you play him straight up. They've defended him twice on the low block.
Carr, too strong. It'll be Penn State ball to the chagrin of this pro Wolfpack crowd. It is Jimmy V week, and before the game, Debbie and I had a chance to talk to NC State legend Derek Wittenberg, who won a championship for Jim Valvano. That 1983 team, it was Wittenberg who had that game-winning, let's call it an assist. Told us his story. There was a game against Michigan State when the Spartans had Scott Skiles, and Coach Valvano was imploring his team not to foul. D. Witt commits a foul, and Jimmy V didn't see it. Calls a timeout, gets the team to the bench, and what does Wittenberg do? He throws his teammate Terry Gannon under the bus. Coaches, who fouled? Who fouled Michigan State? Wittenberg turns over, he goes, Coach, I'm a senior. It wasn't me, it was Terry Gannon.
There's no way I would have done that. That's all Terry.
And Terry was called over and got an earful.
Coach V, a remarkable man, terrific family, great foundation, has done so much for so many. If you can find a way to donate, it doesn't matter how much. It will go to research, which will help find a cure, and it's really important.
You played at NC State for K-Yow. You were around Jimmy V. What's your fondest memory of Jimmy V?
The one I can tell on the air? Or he was such a great personality. He let us watch practice whenever we wanted, women's team. But my best memories of him come after I finished at NC State, when I would come back from grad school with my grad school classmates, and he invite us all into his office to share popcorn and sodas and share experience, you know, and just talk about the dual role. At the time, he was the AD and the head coach.
Wheeler off the steal, blocked by Batts, but a foul. And as Debbie said, if you can give anything, any little bit helps, visit v.org/donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research.
Too loose with a basketball, great pick, and a hard foul.
So Wheeler to the free throw line.
And that's, oh, sorry, but that's Wheeler's job on the floor. Up the energy level defensively. Still working to find a shooting form outside the arc, but he can have an impact on the defensive end of the floor for Penn State.
And played at the Rock School, which produced Joel Embiid and Scotty Wilbekin, former SEC Player of the Year at Florida. Wheeler coming off a career-high 14 last time out against Oral Roberts.
We were told today at shoot-around that he spends a good portion of practice time defending Tony Carr. It's made them both better.
Yeah, Wheeler came into this game averaging 2 steals per game. Freeman over Pierce.
And Freeman doing a great job off the step-up screen, really hunting an angle to the bucket.
Penn State opened this game on an 11-0 run. Lead is now 1. There's Tony Carr. Near yard 7, another rebound. Now Braxton Beverly, who had signed with Ohio State, took classes there. Drops it off for the big man from Turkey.
Quick hitter in transition, weak side occupied, wide open side of the floor. Good execution.
And the Wolfpack have their first lead at 25-24. On the other end, it's Wheeler to Pierce.
Right back at you. Very similar action for Penn State. They like to ice those ball screens, which means they try to keep the ball on the same side of the floor.
Wheeler again in transition. Blocked at the rim by Dorn. Bostic on the inside and a foul. The 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge rolls on Thursday from the Breslin Center in East Lansing. It is Notre Dame and Michigan State. Spartans coming off a 63-45 win against defending champion UNC. The Tar Heels shot under 25%. Worst shooting performance in school history.
How about Notre Dame undefeated coming off the win over Wichita State? Mike Bray, Bonzie Colson. You're talking about Marvin Bagley, a 2010 guy in the league. So is Bonzie Colson right now.
That's the player of the year race right now in the ACC. Zir Bostic heads to the bench. Lamar Stevens checks back in. Stevens, Bostic, and Tony Carr, all sophomores, all went to Roman Catholic in Philadelphia, all came to Penn State. And one thing Pat Chambers has done, he has created that Philly pipeline for this program.
You look at the defensive effort right here. Braxton Beverly hasn't been able to make a pass.
Wheeler all over him. Here's Dorn. Beats the shot clock. Does not hit the rim. And a shot clock violation. The Penn State bench jacked.
That is a huge defensive possession. The energy of Wheeler. Wow. You talk about moving your feet. Look at the D right here. He's just moving his feet, cutting off angles. Giving Beverly no vision to make any entry pass.
Wheeler to Carr. It was deflected out of bounds by NC State. Now they'll say went off Penn State. In many ways, this is a bigger game for Penn State. NC State, expectations not very high this season, but for the Nittany Lions, they feel they have a team that can get Penn State to the NCAA tournament. And they go into Big Ten play right after this. Beverly wanted the tie.
Create a little space.
That did not hit the rim. Shot clock at 15. Stevens lost it. Watkins navigates through a double team. follows his shot, and it comes to Al Freeman.
The Watkins got to finish those.
Yeah. Here's Leonard Freeman with 2 hands. His offense has been a big surprise for NC State. Never much of a score, missed last year with a leg injury, had a metal rod inserted into his leg. He's been a 12-point per game scorer for the Wolfpack.
He's only shooting 74% from the floor, probably because he gets a lot of dunks.
Tony Carr, that rims out. Dorn underneath. And a foul on Lamar Stevens.
And one of the things you've got to do is run to the rim and continue to work. Watch the play on the interior. Freeman.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Esurance, auto and home insurance for the modern world. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. It is the Big Ten ACC Challenge. The ACC has won 6 of 7 so far. Penn State got off to a great start, 11-0 run. NC State, solid bench production to get back into the game.
Hit a couple of threes, body language changed. Now it's a possession-for-possession game. NC State has yet to take the lead.
Wolfpack 0 for 3 at the line. Tor and Dorn, a 1-1. He ties the game at 28. Dorn 0 for 6 shooting in the first half, and we've seen that with him at times. He'll miss that first shot, and it gets him into a funk.
So you need to put the ball on the floor, take advantage of your versatility, get to the line, see the ball go through the basket.
He's given the Wolfpack a 1-point lead. Tony Carr with 9 points in the first half. Already 2 30-point games in the early going. Penn State's going to be in the NCAA tournament conversation. You will hear a lot about Tony Carr this year. Carr checked by Al Freeman, less than 10 to shoot. Carr, baseline jumper. Dorn battling for the rebound, tied up with Bostic and a jump ball. Possession to NC State. Debbie, you watch the Wolfpack, the style that Kevin Keats plays. He may not have the guys right now to be in the upper tier of the ACC, but you get the feeling they're going to knock off a couple of people this year they're not supposed to. Already they've got the win against Arizona.
Right. And so you're coming off of back-to-back losses, and you wonder what team you're going to get. I'm sure when it was 11-zip, Kevin Keats was wondering where his guys were, you know? And then they showed up after they hit a couple of threes off the bench.
The ACC plays the style that NC State does. Carr out of control. Stay with the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, it's a different style because it's full court pressure all the time. And what they have done a really good job of it to get back in this game is applying that same pressure mentality on the offensive end. You got to attack, get to the logo, make a play, get to the line.
Carr and Freeman. Pass intercepted by Leonard Freeman. Here comes Beverly.
That's the switch. This one here at 7 should go to the block, right? Instead, when you got a big, you take him to the bucket.
Braxton Beverly signed with Ohio State, took summer classes there. When Thad Matta was fired, was granted his release, transferred to NC State. NCAA ruled him ineligible twice before he was finally deemed eligible in mid-November. And He was a big reason they upset Arizona in the Bahamas. Beverly, the floater. Coming up next on ESPN at 9:30 Eastern. #1 Duke and Indiana. Blue Devils the unanimous #1 in this week's poll. How about what we saw at shoot-around today? Braxton Beverly going in for an uncontested layup. And Kevin Keats says dunk that ball and then added a little jab at the end.
Right. Chris Corchiani would have dunked it.
Come on, you buy that?
No. He might have thrown it off the glass for the guy behind him to dunk it.
The tip by Yurt-7.
Now Penn State thinks the ball was still on the rim.
He had 10 offensive rebounds in that loss to Northern Iowa. Foul on Omer Yurt-7, 7-footer from Istanbul, Turkey. That's his second. Penn State in the bonus. Wolfpack down 11 at the under 16 media timeout. It was 11-0. Now up by 5 as Azir Bostic will go to the line.
Sam Hunt with 3 triples for NC State really changed their body language and got them back up tempo. Pat Chambers has done a terrific job of platooning between Watkins and Pierce, keeping those guys out of foul trouble in the middle of the floor, especially Watkins. Mike Watkins doesn't have any fouls, so when we start the second half, let's see if he becomes more aggressive around the rim on both ends.
I gotta tell you, that's impressive. Bostic hitting those free throws. Somebody's holding up a cardboard cutout of Pennywise, the clown from It. That would terrify me. Beverly lost it out of bounds. Officials looking for help. I say last touch Penn State.
That was back tap. Tip from behind.
Freeman hounded. And now a foul. It's going to be on Reeves.
Yeah, Reeves, he was all in Freeman's cylinder, you know, which is an emphasis this year.
Penn State's last field goal at the 6:04 mark of this first half. 0 for 9 since. Bernard Freeman to the free throw line, 5th-year senior. Gave thought to transferring after the coaching change when Mark Gottfried was let go, but hit it off right away with Kevin Keats and wanted to be a part of the culture change and wanted to be a part of a group that can get this program turned around and headed back in the right direction. They're not that far removed from tournament success.
He's already had 2 20-point games. You know, if he can continue to work rim to rim, block to block, very good in the defense in terms of the way they like to guard ball screens.
A 5-point lead for NC State. Here's Tony Carr.
See, and these are the times of the game right here where I feel Tony Carr's got to make a play.
He tried to do it there. Here comes Freeman. And that was Wheeler again getting in the way of that fast break.
So disruptive with his quickness on the floor and his length.
He's found a niche on this team as a freshman, as a defensive stopper.
And that time he's going to get caught for a hold.
Ninth team foul on Penn State. And That'll send Sam Hunt to the free throw line. He is almost automatic. 94% last year with North Carolina A&T. 90% the year before that. Hunt with 10 points already in this first half. Make it 11. Largest lead of the game for NC State. They were down 11-0 at one point.
Well, I'm going to say it again, Anish, because these are going to be the times and possessions inside the season where Tony Carr is going to have to be able to make a play for Penn State.
Timeout by Pat Chambers. Wolfpack on a 12-2 run, and Debbie, this comeback for NC State started when Sam Hunt came off the bench.
No question about it, Anish. He was the guy that started to light it up. A little catch and shoot outside the arc. Stuck 3 triples to get NC State back in the game, and because they could score, they could set their full court pressure. Their body language changed, and that's why NC State has been able to build a 7-point lead at this point in the game with potentially one more possession for Penn State.
11 points for Hunt, a game high. This after being held scoreless the last 2 games. He was starting to begin the season, and tonight and the last time out, Kevin Keats opted for Braxton Beverly.
Let's see if Penn State goes to Tony Carr inverted on the block. I feel like that's a tendency I've picked up in my scout of them.
Here is Carr, checked by Al Freeman.
Gonna run a little high ball screen, shooters in the corner.
About a 3.5-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Bostic. Carr, 5 to shoot. Carr lost it. Shot clock violation.
Play was too slow developing for Penn State.
9 turnovers now for Penn State.
Here comes the defensive team on the floor. Pat Chambers gets Wheeler back out for ball pressure. Now you want to make NC State come back to the ball, not catch it moving up the floor like that.
Freeman at the horn, no good. But the Wolfpack down 11 zip at one point. Go into the locker room up 37-30.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
All this week, we are raising awareness and driving donations for cancer research as part of V Week for Cancer Research. The rallying cry for the week and the V Foundation is don't give up, don't ever give up. This iconic message was delivered by Jim Valvano at the 1993 ESPY Awards while accepting the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage. Here is a look back at some of the most poignant moments in ESPY Award history.
Time is very precious to me. I don't know how much I have left, and I have some things that I would like to say. There are 3 things we all should do every day. If we do this every day of our life, you're going to have, what a wonderful, number 1 is laugh. You should laugh every day. Number 2 is think. You should spend some time in thought. And number 3 is you should have your emotions moved to tears. Could be happiness or joy. But think about it. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, you're going to have something special.
Every day I am reminded that our life's journey is really about the people who touch us. As of Sunday, I didn't even know if I'd make it here. I couldn't fight. But doctors and nurses could. The people that I love, my friends and family, they could fight.
Through it all, I learned that strength, true strength, isn't when you face down life's challenges on your own. It's when you take them on by accepting the help, faith, and love of others and knowing you are lucky to have those.
My beloved bride, Stacy. In the darkest of moments, we embraced and we prayed. Please, don't leave me, she pleaded. We can fight this together.
Listen to what Jim Valvano said 21 years ago. The most poignant 7 words ever uttered in any speech anywhere.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
I can't ever give up because I can't leave my daughters. Coach Valvano didn't. So to be honored with this, I now have a responsibility to also not ever give up.
Whatever I might have imagined a terminal diagnosis would do to my spirit, it summoned quite the opposite. The greatest appreciation for life itself. So I will never give up.
I never imagined that I'd be able to be standing here 20 years after Jimmy V's speech and say that because of all the donations, research, and support, mine is one of the lives that's been saved.
500,000 people will die this year of cancer. And I'd also tell you that 1 in every 4 will be afflicted with this disease. We need your help. I need your help. We need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love.
When you die, that does not mean that you lose to cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live. So live, fight like hell. And when you get too tired to fight, then lay down and rest and let somebody else fight for you.
I will live my life full of love and full of fun. It's the only way I know how.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those 3 things are going to carry on forever. I thank you, and God bless you all.
Join ESPN and the V Foundation in the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for cancer research.
NC State with a halftime lead on Penn State with Debbie Antonelli, Ivan Schropp. What's great about the early season is it allows us to recalibrate our expectations, our prognostications, if you will. So when you look at the preseason polls in the Big Ten and the ACC, are we at the point now where we can say, okay, what did we get right, what did we get wrong?
Well, I really like Minnesota. I think they are a veteran team. Nate Mason really makes them work, and I think Iowa, having seen them last night, has got a chance to be really good in the league. See if Penn State, I think they might be a little bit low. I think they're going to finish in the top half of the Big Ten this season.
Meanwhile, in the ACC, I don't really think there's an argument at the top. Duke looks every bit the part of #1. Is North Carolina the second best team in the ACC?
Notre Dame, I'd say right now, is probably the second best. We don't know about Louisville. I still think there's a chance to take a hard look at them. But Virginia Tech last night in East, I'm telling you what, the style that they play, like NC State style, is different. Buzz Williams' style is different as well. That is a fast, athletic, undersized, hard-charging team.
Ran Iowa out of the building in the second half, and NC State perhaps with a chance to sneak up on some people as well.
It's V-Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
No better place to spend a Jimmy V week than in Raleigh, North Carolina. NC State with a 7-point lead on Penn State in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. About ready for the start of the second half. Denise Schroff alongside Debbie Antonelli. And wild pendulum swings in that first half. It was Penn State came out of the gates roaring, 11-0 run to start.
What a way to start on the road for Penn State, a team that's looking for a resume-building win. So they had the energy, the extra effort, the tips, the deflections, their ability to play the way they wanted, getting the shots that they wanted to get. Their effort was better. They went on an 11-0 run. NC State had poor body language, couldn't get anything going offensively. Tony Carr had a great start, but I thought Penn State just had better effort in the first half of the first half. And then for NC State, they started out cold, as we mentioned, but then they caught fire and knocked down 5 triples. 3 different players, including Sam Hunt, who hit 3 big threes off the bench for NC State. Even the big guy, Yurt 7, steps out and knocks down his 4th triple of the season.
Yurt 7 and Hunt, a big punch off the bench. 21-6 bench scoring edge for NC State. ACC has won 6 of 7 in this Big Ten ACC Challenge so far. And a whistle early here in the second half.
I think the second half is going to be Tony Carr's half for Penn State. You know, in the first half, he was 4 for 14. He might have forced a couple of shots, but they ran this play last time. They're just going to throw it up to him for the lob, and he scored on this last time.
After the foul on Sam Hunt, Carr with an easy 2. He's got 11.
And remember, he had a huge game against Texas A&M, which was the best team on their schedule. He had 21 of his 31 points in the first half. See if he gets it going in the second.
Bernard Freeman down low. Count the basket and the foul on Mike Watkins.
Which is his first foul, which is important to note because I think he could be more aggressive in the second half on both ends of the floor. Terrific job of holding off Watkins, calling for the basketball by Freeman.
Freeman completes the three-point play, largest lead for NC State. There is Abdul Malik Abu not playing tonight, soreness in his knee. Remember, he missed the first 4 games of the season with an MCL sprain, and it's a short bench for Kevin Keats. Darius Hicks, a sophomore, out for the season after tearing his ACL. Watkins down low, able to draw the foul on Freeman.
See, I love that. I love 2 strong dribbles trying to get to the midline and then being aggressive at attacking the rim. Freeman committing a foul on this end. Now that we switch, that matchup in the middle might be one to keep your eye on here in the second half. It's been Watkins and Pierce rotating for Pat Chambers. It's been Freeman and Yurt 7 for NC State, Kevin Keats.
Wolfpack with a chance to extend their biggest lead of the game. There is Torin Dorn. Began his career at UNC Charlotte. Freeman, the long 3. Rattles in. And the Wolfpack, once down 11, now lead by 11.
The 10th three-point basket for Freeman this season. There you go, Watkins. You could have put up a big number in the second half if you're going to pull your team back. It's going to be Watkins, and it's going to be Carr up the middle.
Beverly off the front rim, Dorn the rebound. Sam Hunt, his 4th triple. He's got 14 to lead all scorers.
Without hesitation.
And Carr bumped on the drive.
He even had a hand in his face on that one. Watch Sam Hunt. He's been all catch and shoot all night. Late on the close.
Well, go figure. NC State came into this game as one of
same play here, Anish, sorry.
The worst three-point shooting teams in the country, and that's what's allowed them to get back into this game. 7 for 10 from beyond the arc. And as you said, look out for Tony Carr.
Well, they've run this play a couple times. They just throw the lob to him over the top, but this time Kevin Keats put Freeman on him, which is a bigger defender.
Freeman Freeman's got 2 fouls. Now Watkins traveled as he was guarded by Leonard Freeman.
Yeah, it's going to be one-on-one in the post for both clubs. Neither team electing to bring any double. Nothing on the catch, nothing on the bounce. Straight up, make a move, go to work.
Both teams right now essentially employing a 4-guard lineup. Hunt, heat check. And a foul on Dorn.
Okay, so Sam Hunt gets one of those, Anish. One for the heat check. You got it. I mean,
it almost went in.
Can't blame him, right? See if Shep Garner can get going from Penn State. He only had 1 triple in the first half. Here he comes off the screen.
Stevens in the post against Dorn.
Great help by Freeman.
And he'll get bailed out by the foul. Number 2 on Torin Dorn. Already the 5th team foul on NC State.
I thought Dorn had good position right there, and you could see Freeman was in the ready position at help right at the rim.
Garner hits off the feed from Carr.
I mean, look how quick he gets his feet down. Over 1,200 points in his career, Garner. One of the top 3-point shooters in Penn State history. 4th on the career makes list.
Beverly is fouled, and that's Garner's 3rd.
How about Braxton Beverly? He's listed at 6 feet. No way. Tough, plays under. Very good in the screening action. Terrific range outside the arc. 20 points against Arizona's length.
Assistant coach James Johnson, who was a former head coach at Virginia Tech and also a former assistant at Penn State, now with NC State, told me at shoot-around that Beverly reminded him a little of Jerry McNamara, former Syracuse star and current Jim Boeheim assistant.
How about that?
I'll tell you what,
That's
though.
That's not a bad sentence to have your name in.
If Braxton Beverly ends his freshman year by hitting 6 threes in the first half of the championship game, a lot of people will be happy in these parts. And a turnover.
There's something about the rhythm of Penn State right now as we take a look at James Johnson. He's been a head coach in the ACC as well at Virginia Tech.
Former college teammate of Kevin Keats. Freeman to Freeman. Al to Leonard. To the right hand, too strong. Watkins rips it. Carr with the friendly roll.
Playing off a little drag by Watkins.
Beverly looking to push. Wild shot. Freeman, the weak side rebound and the putback.
Yeah, nice quick hitter because you had the length at the rim to finish. Beverly.
We'll get a foul on Beverly.
Not good awareness by NC State. Take the ball out of the net. Force Penn State, take it out of the net. Get beat. Part of that is because Beverly drove all the way to the basket. Usually it's your point guard who gets back on defensive balance. But when he goes all the way to the rim, there's got to be a different rotation back to cover so you don't get beat over the top. Game's kind of quieted down, hasn't it?
It has. Substitutions now as Bostic and Wheeler check in. Jamari Wheeler, the freshman from Florida, had a strong first half on the defensive end. So Satchel Pierce. Carr. Well, they've made him work for his shots.
Yeah, good take, beautiful. drive behind, the hard roll to the rim.
15 for Tony Carr. Came in averaging 20 a game.
He's already hit one from out there, Yurt 7.
Less than 10 to shoot. Al Freeman, shot fake, leans in. Now Sam Hunt, the floater, left it short. Penn State looking to cut into this 9-point deficit. Carr pulls up and connects.
Here we go. Last 3 buckets, Tony Carr. He's terrific. 6'5", he's getting points in the paint. He's attacking the logo at NC State.
17 now for Carr. And Dorn walked.
If Penn State is going to win on the road, Tony Carr is going to have to do more of this.
It's the Big Ten ACC Challenge from PNC Arena. The ACC has won 6 of 7 so far. It's the 19th season. The ACC has won the first 10. Big Ten has been much better in the last 8. They have some ground to make up this year. Tony Carr has helped Penn State make up some ground in the second half. Carr finding Naz Bostic, his high school teammate. Lamar Stevens, another part of that Roman Catholic triumvirate.
And Lamar Stevens, 0 for 6 from the floor, comes in at nearly 15 points a game, second leading scorer for Penn State. And Tony Carr has scored the last 3 buckets.
He's 4 for 4 in the second half, make it 5 for 5. He's got 19. He'll go to the free throw line for number 20.
So I love the set that they come out of the timeout with. They go to horns and they get a backdoor look, and Lamar Stevens can't get the offensive glass. This time they come back out to what's been working for them. I don't think Pat Chambers has to dig too deep into the playbook right now. Give it to Carr, put him in space, play in a concept, and let him go to work. That's the kind of alpha play that Tony Carr has to bring to Penn State for them to be successful this season and to go to the postseason, which is where they want to go.
Pat Chambers wanted Carr to be the alpha, be the leader on this team. Only a sophomore, #1 player out of Pennsylvania coming out of high school. He has trimmed what was a 12-point deficit to 4. Yurt 7 kicks it out. Al Freeman. His pass tipped. Freeman shot fake. Drops it off for Dorn, blocked. And a shot clock violation.
Another terrific defensive stance by Penn State. Now you get the stop. Now you got to come down and you got to get a good look. Since Tony Carr has had the last 9 points, is there any option besides him? Now the defense is going to start to shade him with 1.5, so he might be able to make a play here off the bounce to set someone else up. And he's got Beverly. They're going to invert him to the block. Post him up right here.
Here's the mismatch. Carr hit the side of the backboard, his first miss here in the second half.
That was a set they ran in the Texas A&M game, Anish, when they really needed a basket.
Freeman at the other end.
What a great get Al Freeman has been for NC State. He played well in the Bahamas, and that is a terrific take off the bounce. He's scoring on this end. He's also had a good portion of the defensive work against Tony Carr. Now NC State will switch 1 through 3, sometimes 1 through 4. Look at Sam Hunt right now. He's face guarding Tony Carr. Gonna play him to no catch.
7-point lead for NC State. They've made 10 consecutive free throws. Seven-point lead was the halftime margin. Penn State led by as many as 11 early. Carr was calling for it. 5 to shoot. Wheeler kicks to the corner. Bostic. Did he beat the shot clock? No, he did not.
And for about 10 seconds of that possession, Tony Carr stood out here on the perimeter and didn't move. So that's another level of progression for him. With the ball in his hands, he's terrific. He's got to work off the basketball, especially late in the shot clock.
12 turnovers for Penn State. Screen from yard 7. Now Freeman, shot fake, and able to draw the foul on Nazir Bostic. A veteran move by the 23-year-old grad transfer.
I mean, he has hit a 3, but you've got to play him off the bounce. Terrific pump fake.
Kevin Keats was telling us that now this team doesn't have the alpha that it did last year in Dennis Smith when you needed a big basket just to clear out, let one guy do his thing. But collectively, there's a lot of different guys who can be the guy on a given night. Don't forget Thursday, the Big Ten ACC Challenge continues. Notre Dame and Michigan State. Top 5 matchup in East Lansing.
There's 2 guys in that game. Miles Bridges from Michigan State and Bonzi Colson from Notre Dame.
Colson, one of the hardest matchups in college basketball. Watkins' layup is not there. The lob broken up by Carr. Here's Reeves. Back to Carr. Lines up a 3. Offensive rebound, Stevens into goaltend.
Is that going to be Lamar Stevens' first basket of the game?
It is.
Yeah, he has not been able to score from the field, but he is working on the offensive glass and around the rim here in the second half.
Stevens has 6 rebounds. He was a little up and down in conference play last year. Had offers out of high school from Villanova and Indiana, but wanted, in his words, to make history at Penn State. Dorn.
Good drive. Terrific job by Beverly off the step-up screen to get all the way to the drift. You know, and make that pass to set up Dorn for the rotation, because Penn State's rotation was late closing out on the perimeter.
Down low, Watkins, shot fake, flush. Two-possession game.
See the step-up screen? That's a snake behind it. Oh, look at Watkins cover that ground.
One of the best shot blockers in the Big Ten. Garner. In and out.
Look at Hunt in the corner.
Dorn never saw him. And they will give him the basket and the foul. NC State to the free throw line, up by 8. Renee Schroff, Debbie Antonelli. Let's revisit Deb's do's and don'ts.
When you look at situational offense for Penn State, they've had 18 possessions of baseline, sideline, or after timeouts. They have scored 22 points on those 18. 2 players with foul trouble because NC State is attacking and getting Penn State in rotation. And then for the Wolfpack, points in the paint. They've done a terrific job of getting on the inside. Right now, Penn State is winning the advantage on the glass, especially on the offensive rebounds, where Penn State's had 16 offensive rebounds with 4 different players that have had 3. Their guards crash.
Yeah, they do. Torin Dorn unable to complete the 3-point play. Some foul trouble now for Penn State. Josh Reeves and Shep Garner both with 3. Whitney Lyons have left some points at the free throw line, just 9 of 15 at the stripe. Carr posting up against Markell Johnson. We have not seen much of Markell Johnson tonight.
And Braxton Beverly has gotten the majority of the minutes at the point. 5 minutes in the game for Markel Johnson, who started at the point.
Sophomore from Cleveland. Guarding Carr. Back iron. Watkins the rebound. Johnson with the intercept. Yard 7 sets the screen. Back to Yard 7. Beautifully executed pick and roll. They're going to get a foul on the freshman. LeVar Batts, his third.
Watch the screen and the roll. You see Watkins is not aggressive in showing. It's a weak show right there, but that's the way Penn State guards it. They like to gap it on those ball screens. A terrific pass that leads Yurt 7 right to the rim.
That's a good sign, too, because if you go back to the tournament in the Bahamas in the loss to Northern Iowa, NC State had success with its bigs. The guards just weren't getting the ball to the bigs consistently.
You got to have that balance. You know, hey, listen, Anish, guards, it's a college game is all about the guard. Basketball is all about the guards.
I know. Spoken like a former guard. I guess if the ball's in your hands, you call the shots, right?
That's right. You're in charge.
How about the big fella from Byzantium? Omer Yurt 7 with his second three. He's 5 of 6 from deep this season.
How about the highlight reel back-to-back? The dunk on the pick and roll and the three at the top of the key.
The big guys are Renaissance men now. Stevens, and he is fouled by Yurt 7.
Again, the way NC State is attacking those pick and rolls on the side of the floor, and Yurt 7 just makes himself available at the top of the key.
He is just starting to scratch his potential, which is immense. He had a chance to go pro, would have likely have been a second-round pick, but he came back so he can move up into that first round and potentially the lottery even higher.
So you go from being 5 for 6 from the three-point line for the season now, okay? And now you've got the interior game. He becomes a pick and pop guy at 7 feet tall. He's got great footwork around the rim. Now that's the reason why he came back, because he needed to improve his defense, improve his skill set, and he's done that in the offseason, playing in Turkey for the U20 team. He's got a lot of international experience.
Carr picked up the foul. Yeah, the NC State team played internationally over the summer in Italy, but Kevin Keats told Yurt 7 to play with his Turkish team, play against a high level of competition, and having the non-conference part of the schedule this year. Remember, he was suspended the first 9 games last year. Essentially, when he came back, didn't have a ton of time before conference play, and you're going to struggle if your first taste of college basketball is the ACC. Stevens leaning in, draws the contact, and the foul on Dorn. Stevens will shoot 2.
Dorn, number 2, is third. And the team foul.
1 for 7 from the floor is Lamar Stevens.
Only 4 points for Stevens, who came in averaging more than 14.5 per game.
At least he's on the glass, so he's not just worried about not being able to score. He is impacting the game in other ways.
Here's the pick, trying to go back to that pick and roll. Penn State over it.
Good job by Pierce.
Garner off the Stevens screen.
saw a number today, Anish, where 25% of the possessions where Yurt 7 is on the floor, NC State can play through him, not just to him. So he's adding to his skill set. You got to find the 7-footer when he's lurking around the rim.
Three-pointer is good by LeVar Batts. A team that had struggled shooting the ball from the outside has connected from deep tonight.
And so the space changes when Yurt 7 is on the floor because he demands so much of that painted area. The way he can roll to the rim, the way he can shoot threes at the top of the key.
Pierce misses the bunny. And Batts flying into the Penn State bench to save it.
Satchel Pierce, come on, you got to make that play for your team.
Transfer out of Virginia Tech.
Yep, spent the first 2 years there.
Named after the Baseball Hall of Famer Satchel Paige. His full name is Satchel Paige Pierce. Dad was a big fan of Satchel Paige, who played until he was almost 60. He used to call the infield in when Mickey Mantle was up.
I hope I'm still shooting it when I'm 60.
I'm telling you, he was old trickster. Played for years in the Negro Leagues and never really got his chance in the bigs until he was into his 40s.
NC State's defense really pushing Penn State out now.
Carr has it knocked away by Johnson. Here's Markel Johnson. Blocked at the rim by Stevens, and they're going to call a foul. Markel Johnson did not play much in the first half. He's provided a spark here in the second half. Join SVP after Duke and Indiana tonight. Big night of basketball in the NBA. Warriors and Lakers. Lonzo and Steph Curry. Wizards and Sixers, plus Auburn quarterback Jarrett Stidham on how the Tigers can beat Georgia for the second time this season. This time with a trip to the college football playoff at stake. ACC leading the Big Ten 6-1 in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Clemson currently leading Ohio State, and if Clemson were to win, and if NC State were to win tonight, the ACC would clinch the challenge this year. Markel Johnson at the free throw line. Wolfpack in the bonus. 18 fouls for Penn State. Nittany Lions in the double bonus. And Johnson misses both.
In a late game closing situation, Braxton Beverly will be on the floor for offense, and I believe Johnson will be on the floor for defense.
Tony Carr's got a team high 20. Has not had much help in the second half. Wing three falls for Josh Reeves. And Penn State within 8.
This game could go one or two ways right here for Penn State. That's a huge 2 missed free throws on this end for NC State.
Yurt 7 with his 3rd triple.
That's going to change the space. You're going to have to come out and challenge. The Penn State bigs don't like to guard on the perimeter. That's why they soft hedge on all their ball screening action.
Stevens has been cold tonight. Now Reeves. Tough shot. Way off. And Yurt 7 the rebound. Johnson pushing. Freeman catch and shoot. No good. Foul down low. It's going to go on Tony Carr, his 2nd. And the 19th foul on Penn State. So Torrin Dorn to the line for a 1-and-1. And Dorn hasn't had his shot today, shooting just 2 out of 11, but he's got a career-high 12 rebounds.
Yeah, there are going to be nights when you don't shoot the ball well. Lane violation by NC State. Well, you've got to do other things to help your team.
Here's the outlet to Stevens. Johnson pokes it away, and they're going to get a reach-in foul. It's on Dorn, his fourth. Bernard Freeman and Braxton Beverly getting ready to check in for NC State. Jamari Wheeler at the scores table for Penn State as Stevens knocks down the first free throw. Now that you've seen them up close and in person, do you see Penn State as a team capable of breaking through and being in the NCAA tournament conversation late in the season?
Can they consistently bring the kind of energy and effort that's going to be required in the Big Ten race to be able to do that? Do they have enough talent? Yes. But what we saw today, that Coach Chambers travels with a big sign called attitude. And I would say that intangible right now is going to be something that's going to be very important to finish out this game and might dictate how deep they can make a run in the Big Ten.
Both teams now in the double bonus. And Big Ten's going to be a tough league, and Pat Chambers told us this is the best team that he's had now in his 7th season at Penn State. The Nittany Lions have not been to the NCAA tournament since 2011. That was before Chambers got there.
They're skilled. They have all the pieces. You could call them young, but their freshmen played a lot of minutes last year, and they are returning 81% of their scoring from a year ago. They've got good balance. They've got depth at the rim. And you got Tony Carr, who I think could be a star. I mean, a real legitimate household name across the Big Ten landscape.
When you return more than 80% of your scoring, rebounding, and assists, youth is not an excuse.
It's about habits, Anish. What kind of habits do you create every day? And then consistently, do you understand, what you need to do at this level to be able to pull off W's? They're still in it now. I mean, that's a nice play right there. Watkins at the rim. I mentioned this before. He has one personal foul. He's got to be a little bit more demonstrative at the rim on the defensive end. He's one of the top shot blockers in the country. NC State's getting points in the paint off the bounce.
Right now, everything has gone through yard 7. Setting the screen for Johnson. Beverly. Watkins the rebound.
Now, I will say right there, Mike Watkins had an impact on that shot because you cannot over-penetrate.
There's Tony Carr down the lane. And that is going to be an offensive foul on Carr, his 3rd.
I think he catches the ball standing too much. He doesn't catch the ball on the move. That is much harder to guard. And with his 6'5" frame,
why?
Because it's harder to guard. It's harder to guard moving than it is stationary. And if you can just get the defense shifting just a little bit, he'll have an angle to the rim.
They get a foul as yard 7 was crashing the offensive boards. And that's 4 now on Reeves.
You can see why, as you mentioned before, NC State fans could get really excited about this team. The energy they play with, the effort. They didn't start the game that way, but Sam Hunt had the ability to knock down triples, to change their discipline. But if yard 7 is going to do what he has shown us tonight, that is very impressive as you take a look at some of the foul trouble that Pat Chambers has been dealing with tonight.
How about Omer yard 7, a career-high 19. Assistant coach James Johnson told me at shoot-around they want him to be more aggressive. We're seeing some of that in the second half.
NC State spent a lot of time at shoot-around working on step-up screen, scoring against that. Against the way Penn State guards ball screens. I think they've done an excellent job. And then yard 7's length has been a factor.
Stevens has been ice cold. Loose ball.
See, that right there is when you've got rim body ball, and Mike Watkins needs to go up to the cup like he means it.
Possession arrow, NC State on the jump ball call. And Deb, I think you hit it right on the nail. You said,
I'm over here posting you up.
I know. I got scars and war wounds now. But you mentioned it. You said the urgency for Penn State on the road, big non-conference test. They've got Big Ten play after this. Big Ten playing some games in December this year because their conference tournament at Madison Square Garden moved up a week. They have Iowa. They've got Wisconsin coming up. You wanted to see more urgency from this team.
I saw Fran McCaffrey's team last night, and they didn't play well in the second half. Virginia Tech took over and dictated the tempo, but they've got size and length. They've got Jordan Bohannon is in charge. He's got terrific demeanor about the way he runs the show. They defend, they extend, and they're getting Nicholas Baer back last night, which was a big deal for them.
Now we're seeing active hands by Penn State. Comes back to the Wolfpack. 20 to shoot. Beverly splits the double. Tries to drop it off, gets it back. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Beverly, the floater. Offensive rebound, Freeman. He is fouled, and right now the Wolfpack relentless on the glass. 2 on Watkins.
He's fine, he's got 2. He needs to stay aggressive. NC State doing a great job of running their stuff. That step-up screen has been successful, and they're not just always scoring when they snake behind it. They're making a play and forcing rotation. That allows them to get to the rim to offensive rebound.
And right now, Kevin Keats going with a bigger lineup with Freeman and Yurt-Seven both on the floor.
And Pat Chambers countering with a smaller.
Bostic in for Watkins. Bostic, a guy, number 4 in white. His nickname in high school was Horse because he would carry his team down the stretch.
You know what, Anish, I sense this lineup for Pat Chambers is about pushing the tempo offensively, Ray. They got to run. They got to look to get into their actions a little quicker. They've got to sprint to every action. Sprint to screening.
4 of the 5 on the floor for Penn State from Philadelphia's Roman Catholic High School. Wheeler with the ball, the only one not part of that quartet. Carr to Stevens, he has it knocked away. Back to Wheeler, less than 10 to shoot. Now Carr down the lane, splits the D and the teardrop.
Beautiful, terrific take. It's an 11-point NC State lead, and if Penn State's going to chip away here in the last 3:43, Tony Carr's going to have the ball.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join ESPN and the V Foundation in the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. Jimmy V, legendary coach for NC State, won a championship in 1983. The fight against cancer continues. Penn State right now looking to claw back down 11. They led 11-0 at the first media timeout. They're now down 11 with 3:31 left in regulation. Clemson has beaten Ohio State in basketball, and the ACC now has won 7 of 8 in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. So if NC State holds on down the stretch, the ACC would clinch this year's challenge. 14 in gray tonight, Omer Yurt-Seven. 19 points, 11 rebounds. He's fouled.
Well,
second double-double. He's really starting to come into his own as a sophomore.
Sorry, Anish. That is the right person to foul and put on the line. If you're Penn State, you put Markel Johnson on the line, who doesn't shoot the free throws very well and missed the last 2.
As Johnson to the free throw line. 64% entering the day.
I don't think that was an intended foul, though, I have to say, with this much time on the clock.
Both teams in the double bonus. Both teams have 2 timeouts. It's a 12-point lead. There's still plenty of time left. What does Penn State have to do here in the final 3.5 minutes to get back?
Can they get 3 consecutive stops and score on the other end? Because if they can do that, like this right here.
Stevens on the breakaway.
Now apply some pressure. Take NC State deeper into the shot clock. Good D by Penn State. 15 on the shot clock.
Seven to shoot. Freeman off the screen, working on Stevens, the fadeaway. Rebound to Lamar Stevens.
There's 2 stops. Or 1, I should say. The other one's a free throw, sorry.
Stevens down the lane through the contact, and he'll shoot a free throw. And Penn State with a chance to whittle away at this deficit.
How about Lamar Stevens? Has struggled all night offensively. Gets the breakaway, and then a little Euro, steps around, draws the charge. Goes to the free throw line for an and 1.
The foul was Beverly's second. It's still a 3-possession game. We come up on 2.5 to play.
You want to draw 2 there, but you got to be careful as you get closer to the midcourt stripe. That's a loose ball foul.
And they're going to get Jamari Wheeler.
All on Dorn, number 2, his 5th.
Actually, they'll say Dorn got the foul, so that's on NC State. And for Dorn, that is 5. So even though he hasn't shot well, he's been effective on the glass. He's now out of the game. And remember, Abdul Malik Abu, one of the bigs, not playing today, has soreness in his knee, an injury that cost him the first 4 games of this season, had a sprained MCL.
NC State right now is a little hesitant against the Penn State length in that 3/4 court press. So what they're doing is they're coming across midcourt, and there's times where the smaller NC State guards are getting trapped. And you don't want to get trapped, and you don't want to pick it up once you cross midcourt. But in the backcourt, you do want to draw 2, so you can reverse it and look down the line and go quickly to attack the backside, or get it to the middle.
Wheeler came into this game just 5 of 9 from the free throw line, and misses the first. Boston College at Nebraska follows our game. The start of it can be seen on ESPN News. Banked home, 2-possession game.
Draw 2, reverse it. NC State doesn't want to just take time off the clock here, so they want to be really careful about not going too deep before they start their progression.
It's been almost 5 minutes since the last Wolfpack field goal. Johnson in traffic, blocked by Reeves. Tony Carr. Carr for 3. Gets it to go, and it's a 3-point game. A 9-0 run by the Nittany Lions.
They were down 11 at the 3:30 mark.
Well, they've gotten the stops you talked about. And playing now with a sense of urgency.
And converted on the other end.
Al Freeman. Freeman over Reeves. Got it to go. Huge basket.
Get it back to 2 possessions. Now NC State needs to get a stop.
Carr against Beverly, off balance, the foul, and Tony Carr will shoot 2.
Great job by Pat Chambers to attack the Braxton Beverly matchup. When you push in transition and you run the floor hard, you can create mismatches just by running the floor hard.
Carr's got 25. He's an 84% free throw shooter. Seven for Carr, 18 in the second half.
1 minute.
Beverly is going to be fouled by Reeves. That is 5, so Josh Reeves is fouled out. And he is the best perimeter defender for Penn State.
I like the change to the small lineup. I think that's also been a factor in helping Pat Chambers and his team get back in this. Certainly much better body language and energy out of them. Braxton Beverly is a good free throw shooter. He would be more of the closer who you'd want to have the ball in his hands in the late game situations when you have the lead.
He hit some big shots down the stretch in the win over then number 2 Arizona. Two-possession game. Boston College and Nebraska follows us. Comes Stevens. Around here at 7. Stevens follows his own miss. And back to a 3-point game. 43 seconds left.
What a terrific job Stevens has done. As he commits the foul right there. He has been so aggressive at the rim. When the tempo picked up, they needed stops. He was able to get out on the other end. He thought he had an and one here. Right there.
Stevens picked up his 4th foul, and now Markel Johnson, who is 1 for 5 at the free throw line tonight, to shoot 2.
Well, Doran out with 5 fouls. I think you have to keep Johnson on the floor right now. He's your quickest ball handler. He's not your best free throw shooter.
Best free throw shooter for NC State is Sam Hunt. 1 out of 2 for Johnson. 4-point game. Carr. Bostic. Out of bounds.
You might want to take a look at that one.
They can review this play or go to the monitor. North Carolina has beaten Michigan. So the ACC has won the Big Ten ACC Challenge. 8 wins for the ACC, 1 for the Big Ten. And going to the monitor to see who touched this ball. Big call here with 32 seconds left. 2-possession game. Who knocked it out? Stevens and Beverly.
Did it look like it hit Beverly last?
A ruling on the court.
Or did it hit Stevens last?
Initially it was ruled NC State ball.
I think it hit Stevens last.
off of Stevens' arm. Did Beverly touch it again after that?
And Sam Hunt is going to check in for Markel Johnson, I think.
It's going to be NC State ball.
No, Kevin Keats is going to leave, Markel Johnson in. So, if I'm Penn State, I might let him catch it and then try to trap him and then get the foul. But not let Braxton Beverly catch the ball here.
Beverly fouled by Garner. Beverly, the freshman, to the line. 30 seconds left in regulation.
That's who you want to have the basketball. That's the closer.
Beverly 4 for 4 at the free throw line. 5 for 5. Even if he makes both, it's still a 2-possession game. Penn State still has 2 timeouts.
Tony Carr and Shep Garner have hit threes. Reeves hit a 3, but he's out.
Carr's their best three-point shooter by far, 65% on the season entering play. Down 6, here's Carr.
NC State switching on everything.
We'll give him the 2. Carr takes it. It's a 4-point game with 19 seconds. And a timeout by Penn State. 29 for Carr now. He's 1 away from his 3rd 30-point game of the season. With Clemson and North Carolina winning tonight, the ACC has clinched the Big Ten ACC Challenge. It's been a lopsided affair so far, 8-1. NC State, 19 seconds away from making it 9-1, but Penn State not out of this yet.
Purdue beat Louisville last night, 66-57 for the 1 win for the Big Ten so far.
What does that mean in the grand scheme of things if the ACC wins this thing lopsided?
It certainly helps your resume, and if you've won on the road, it matters because you know that piece of criteria is carrying more weight with the selection committee.
Beverly to inbound. Over to Johnson. They foul him immediately, and that's the shooter Penn State wants at the line. Jamari Wheeler picks up the foul, and he has now fouled out. Some big free throws from Markel Johnson. He backed up Dennis Smith a year ago, and now he's the starting point guard for Kevin Keats. Smith, a top 10 pick with the Mavericks. Johnson only 2 of 7 from the free throw line tonight. Penn State has a timeout.
That's a big one right there.
Both free throws good. It remains a 2-possession game.
Now you have to have a 3.
Carr trying to get free. Instead, we get a foul. It's on Beverly.
No, I believe it's on
That's
Tony
on Carr.
Carr.
Illegal screen.
Yeah. Pushed off to try to create some space.
And NC State looking to get back into the win column after a couple of consecutive losses. Beverly won't be fouled. He'll bring it up. Now fouled by Carr.
This is a big win for the Wolfpack because I do believe Penn State is going to finish in the top half of the Big Ten this season.
Yep.
And for Penn State, they're going to roll right into Big Ten play on the road at Iowa. Iowa coming off a loss where Fran McCaffrey's team did not play well in the second half. And of course, Virginia Tech had a lot to do with that.
You get the feeling NC State is going to cause trouble for a few people in the ACC that maybe we didn't think was possible before the season. They're a tough matchup stylistically. They may not have all the pieces personnel-wise that Kevin Keatts needs just yet. But if your 7 continues to develop, if Beverly can give them quality minutes as a freshman, they've got a chance to be dangerous. I don't know if this is an NCAA tournament team, but they can be dangerous in the ACC.
They continue to get better.
The Wolfpack were down 11-0 at one point. They come all the way back for a 7-point win at home against Penn State. The Big Ten ACC Challenge continues in Lincoln. It's Boston College and Nebraska.